Okay, I'm motivated to talk a little bit more about what happened to me in Baltimore in 1988. Okay, because I was thinking about that guy I visited in D.C. jail when I was 22 years old. What happened to him? He's put in D.C. jail for this ridiculous reason. He should have never been put in that dangerous place for what he did. It was ridiculous, right? I recognized that then. Now, I don't know when this exactly happened, and I'm going to try not to name any names, but I don't know, I don't know when this happened. I don't remember now, but sometime in the 80s or 90s, I don't think it was afterward, there's this famous American family. I won't say who it was, and one of the members was accused of raping a girl at a pool side. The girl said that, excuse me for saying girl. Maybe I'm supposed to say woman, but come on, man. All right. So I'm saying girl. I don't know her age. Maybe she was under 18. Then I'm perfectly right in saying this. So I don't know. Well, this is a conversation, a phone conversation between me and you, Bashua. See, I'm not going to check these facts. I'm going to say girl because I'm old school when it comes to this kind of thing, and I don't think I'm being disrespectful. Okay? So this guy is accused of forcing himself on a girl at poolside and having sex with her without her consent. She called this a rape. And so this guy gets some very expensive legal help. And the legal help he gets, at quite a price, I'm sure, clears him of this crime. He's found to be not guilty. His legal team goes after the reputation of this girl. And without me going into the details, which I don't have, he's cleared of this accusation. Now imagine, back in 1988, when I'm accused of harassing this journalist that I'm going to for help. I'm going to her to try to escape the abuse I'm still suffering to this day, still complaining about, beginning with the sexual abuse I suffered in adolescence by the man I'm calling America's Man of the Year. Well, what happened back then? America's Man of the Year is up there at the station with my mother telling these folks that I'm crazy. So, is it a surprise to anybody that I'm taken to court and found guilty of harassing this woman? When the legal process is being helped, if you will, by the man who was raping me all during my childhood. This man is up there telling the station I went to for help, to escape him, that I was crazy, and they believed him. So, does anybody understand now better how I'm saying my life story fits very well into the myth behind, if you will, that novel, Night of the Hunter, where you have this serial murderer rapist who's trying to find out from this little boy where money is hid that apparently the boy's father stole. And this is the man who's chasing down this little boy, a man who murders the little boy's mother. And everybody is looking at is a preacher whose word, as the preacher tells the boy, says, well, it's me they believe, not you. Okay, well, I was trying to escape this man. This little boy's trying to escape this serial murderer preacher, Harry Powell, and I'm trying to escape this man who I don't believe was my biological father. At the time, I didn't know that, but I'm saying everything fits together now, like when you read The Big Sleep, right, by Raymond Chandler. At the end there, his Detective Marlowe, was saying, hey, everything fits together. Everything makes sense now with the explanation he came up with to solve the crime he was working on. Okay? And that's the way it is with me. I'm saying now at the end of my life, hey, everything fits together perfectly now. I understand why these things happen to me. But I'm saying, what if I had had a legal team behind me to counter the accusation that I was harassing this Baltimore journalist when I was doing nothing of the kind? And I'm going to go on saying this. The last time I visited her station, okay, I wrote a 3-page typewritten note trying to tell her that I'd been involuntarily committed by this man in a fraud. And I was trying to tell her also, I don't remember exactly what I said in the letter, but I was telling her that I was going to her for help for what had happened to me. And what I got was this response: I'm accused of harassing a journalist I was going to for help. Now, once again, I'm saying, what if things had been different and the man I was trying to escape had not been listened to by this station the way he was? He went up there telling them that I'm crazy with my mother, and they believed him. It's his word they believe, not mine. So I'm just thinking about that now because I'm remembering this famous family going to bat for one of theirs, and he was cleared of the accusation of rape. A rape! And he had sex with his girl. And yet he was cleared. Now, nobody saw the letter I took up there and asking for help, finally saying, look, this is what I'm all about, okay? I went to the station, respectfully entered. There was a guard at the door. I said, can I talk to her? He said, no. And as I'm standing there, well, let me just be quiet, okay? That's enough. But I said, okay, will you give her this letter? And he took it. I don't know if he said anything. I handed him the letter. I left, and I went home. This is harassment. So I got to live with this kind of thing. Now, I'm going to go to court. It's over 30 years later. I was going to go to court then. I went to court, was found guilty. The man who was up there accusing me with, God knows who was accusing me at the station. I really don't believe it was the woman there. But let me say this much, okay? The man of the year was so good at showing just what a wonderful guy he was, okay? That this journalist I was said to have harassed, I read. She said in this interview that I read many, many years later, I was too scared to even look her up in any way. But when the internet came out, around 2000, people started to use the internet. Now, this is 1988 this happened, so we're talking 12 years to the internet. 12 years have gone by in my life. By that time, I had become married and had a child, and I even had a job, okay? And I was escaping the mental prison system. And I'm not sure when I looked online. It wasn't when the internet first opened up. It had to have been maybe 2010, I don't know, or later, probably. So we're talking over 20 years from when this happened. That's how scared I was. I didn't look anything to do with this woman, but I guess I figured around then, well, it must be safe to put her name in the computer here and see what's happened. And I saw this interview, and I saw in the interview where she had married a medical doctor. And I got to say, this is like a chilling fact to me, because it's like saying to me, she was so happy and heartwarmed by the response she got from the wonderful doctor down there in Bethesda, Maryland, who came up in support of her, the harassment she had been suffering from his son. And he was so warm and ingratiating that she found herself a doctor when she said she had been desperately seeking a man. She certainly didn't want me. Now, at the same time as all this was happening, right, the man of the year was throwing money hand and fist at this, I'm going to call him an inquisitioner and then say, well, you folks call this a psychologist, okay? The man was coming to our house. So the man of the year was throwing money hand and fist at this guy, and he was just lapping it up. Just lapping up the money from the man of the year. Like the station up there in Baltimore was lapping up his, oh, my son is crazy. We're so sorry. I don't know what he said, but, oh, God. So he's throwing money at this inquisitioner. And I remember when around that time, we got a letter, or I got a letter addressed to the house there. It's the kind of letters that lawyers send that I think it's some kind of inflammatory letter that nobody's going to listen to. You know, the letter said something like, "You are to cease and desist in having anything to do with this broadcast journalist from so-and-so station." And the man, the inquisitioner there said to the group, my mother, me, and the man of the year, he says, that letter is a harbinger of coming tragedy. He was fully against me in this matter as well. Didn't have a friend anywhere on this, but all these years later, I'm going to go on saying what I said essentially in that letter. Now, the letter's going to surface and show that I'm not telling the truth. No, that cannot happen. If that letter exists, if it was ever delivered to her, I don't know how this happened, to be honest. Because I worked in the news business as far as I did. I was a copy boy at a major American newspaper from that city. And I knew all the journalists there, including the Supreme Court reporter and everybody. And I don't see how this happened, but it did. And so I'm saying that's how good the man of the year was at his abuse of me. It was masterful. And I'm still trying to this day to escape what happened. Now, it wasn't just that I was found guilty of harassing this journalist, okay? The stigma that went along with that in my family and in society, let's call this overwhelming, that this stigmatized me along with the designation that I was a paranoid schizophrenic. People outside the mental prison system don't understand what I'm talking about when I say the stigma here was insurmountable. And it's ongoing to this very day. And, well, let me just stop, because I think I've made my point. And that's all from me for now. Today is... I'm actually not sure now. I'm having a kind of emotional blackout. It's June 15th, Monday. The time is 10:49 p.m. by my phone's clock. Bye for now.